Hello, amazing human, and welcome to Neurodivergent Bites, a podcast for neurodivergent entrepreneurs to understand systems, change the narrative about productivity, and embrace yourself for who you really freaking are. If your energy is being sucked, you're struggling to focus, or you know you need systems, but there's a disconnect for whatever reason, join your host, that's me, Karalee, along with fellow amazing humans on how being a neurodivergent entrepreneur has impacted the way they do life and business. If you're looking for bite-sized action steps, you're in the right place. Hello, amazing humans. Welcome back to Neurodivergent Bites. I am your host, Karalee, and today we are going to be talking about the extreme importance of planning ahead. And I'm going to share with you a little bit of my story and then also some fun action steps that you can take to be able to start planning ahead. So I used to be an extreme planner. Like if it wasn't on the calendar, it didn't happen. If I hadn't thought it through, it didn't happen. But I actually realized that was a little bit over the top for me and what I realistically needed in my life and in my business. And so in being an extreme planner, I actually personally lacked spontaneousness or the ability to make decisions quickly and feel confident about them. And so through my journey, I've actually became what I call a planner mixed with spontaneousness. And so this allows me to have a forward motion, right? I have a plan, but I also leave enough room for spontaneousness, right? So the flexibility to move things around, having fun and like I said, spontaneousness that I never had in my life. And so that actually helps with the dopamine and like all the fun stuff because things changing no longer put me in a panic because I have created enough space that it doesn't. All right, so blank space on the calendar is huge, and I'll be talking more about blank space in your schedule and on your calendar in a future episode. So I'm super excited about that one. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already because I drop one amazing new podcast episode every single freaking week. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So I'm not a person that likes to focus on the negative, but we're going to start there because I want you to acknowledge and become aware of some of the patterns in which you might be experiencing because of not planning, setting in place a plan that will allow you to know what is happening for the future, right? And so some of these things that you might be experiencing if you are not a planner, at least in business or personal, really either, is you're probably missing deadlines. Now, I understand we are neurodivergent and missing deadlines is just a part of it. And I understand that. And we can also hit a lot more deadlines when we have a plan. And so missed deadlines can be a thing of the past or very rare. All right. So this means that when you're missing deadlines, you don't have enough time to actually complete the task at hand. All right, that's normally what that would mean. However, there's also a lot of other things that could be in that. It could be a lack of motivation. So you're not even, you're not even implementing things. It can be that you have very little focus, right? Focus and motivation, I think, are very similar in terms of like actually doing the things, right? You might even lack some confidence in your ability to do the things. And so it's crushing your focus. It's crushing your motivation. It's not allowing, not enough time, whatever. I'm not confident in my abilities anyway, sort of thing like that. And so we don't want to do that. But also, if you have a team or you're wanting to outsource anything, not having proper time to be able to delegate tasks means that it's probably either you're going to have to end up doing it all yourself or that person or that team is not going to have enough time to properly execute what you desire. And so that leads to improper delegation. And so you could also feel very stressed. You could feel very rushed, right? When we don't have a plan. You could also feel like you're wandering, okay? Someone once told me it's not necessarily the how, it's the what. What or where are you going? Okay? What or where you're going, and the how will figure itself out. And as a planner, the how is it's hard to figure that out. But as mixing that with spontaneousness now, I'm like, okay, It's just all going to fall into place. It's all going to feel in alignment. And as long as I know my desired outcome, then how I'm going to get there is going to work itself out. And it's by asking the right questions. It's by, actually starting the plan, because when you start the planning, you actually end up starting to see all of these other things that could be potential problems, potential content, potential, so much potential, period, around what you are working toward, this goal, right? You could even identify how this goal might be unattainable or unrealistic, okay? The planning process is so important for business and personal gain, okay? And so when you have a plan, I'm going to talk business, but this can also be applied to personal, right? Your personal life, because they're intertwined whether we like it or not, right? So planning, having a plan for your business, right? Whether that be the next launch, whether that be how we're going to reach out to people and gain more clients, whether that be, from what coaching program do we want to be a part of? What is happening in the future? Plain and simple. And so when we have a plan, it allows for flexibility, okay? As a neurodivergent, we need flexibility because, more than neurotypicals, our energy is constantly going up and down. And so flexibility needs to be a thing, which means we also need to have blank space in our schedule and in our calendar. Like I said, more on that in a future podcast episode. Having a plan reduces stress, because at least we know where we're going. At least we know where we should be focused, right? What do we have to create? What do we have to do? Who do we have to bring in, right? It reduces the stress. Do we have enough time? Do we have to scale it back because we don't have enough time? It answers and brings up so many questions that we get to be the problem solvers for and solve before they even become a real problem. Having a plan boosts your productivity tenfold, okay? And that's because you know where you're going. And as you're taking one step after another, the how of how you're getting there is revealing itself, okay? Which it's boosting that productivity through you just simply taking action. You're not just spinning your wheels. This also allows you to have plain and simple more time to execute. I used to be one of those planners, especially early on in my business, where I was like, I'm going to launch something on Friday. It's Monday. I'm just going to launch something on Friday. But as I've gained more knowledge about how business and the consumer and all that stuff work, and my own brain, that is completely unrealistic. It's almost guaranteed to flop, and many of them have. But now that I do it much more planned out and there's real strategy behind it, and, it has been, and there's more time, right? There's more time to actually execute it the right way. I've had far better results. So in that, I contribute that to learning, but also planning, okay? Literally with that said, you're more likely to hit your desired goals. You're more likely to, not be stressed out during a launch. You're more likely to have those humans sign up because you made a plan. Okay, this also involves a lot of other things, right? Like a content strategy, maybe testimonials, how much are you relating to your audience? It's not just in the plan, it's in the execution of the plan, it's in the research of the plan, right? A plan has many steps, right? Many different sections in the plan, right? And so when we actually execute all of those, right? We make the plan. It's a lot easier to pivot if the plan doesn't quite go how you thought it was going to, when we've done the research and when we've planned ahead and we've allowed enough time. And when we have this plan, like I said, it allows flexibility, but it also allows flexibility. It reduces the stress. It allows you to have more time, right? You're more likely to hit goals. But it also allows more focus. Because, shiny object syndrome is a real thing, and it happens quite frequently. So at least if we have a plan and we have the motivation and the desire, and oh my gosh, this is super exciting, a hell of a lot easier to focus. And when it's a hell of a lot easier to focus, it's a hell of a lot easier to have motivation. It's a hell of a lot easier to actually implement the things, right? It's a hell of a lot easier to not have things make you panicked and stressed out. One of the biggest things about actual planning is that you're not left with weeks that are like so packed full with everything that you can't focus on what you actually need to do, right? So you're planning out launches. You're planning out when you want to be on vacation. You're planning out holidays. You're planning out, slower times of the year, maybe. You're able, this allows you to shape your schedule in your business and in your personal life around what your goals are. And that's simply by planning ahead. This could be quarterly. This could be yearly. This could be both, right? How I tend to do it is I go, what do I want to do for a year? Where I want to start there. Sometimes I just go, what do I feel like doing this next quarter? Because sometimes a year is too far away. I'm like, I don't know. So many things could change, right? So you can have a rough outline for the year, or maybe some things you want to do throughout the year, and then actually plan it by quarter. That's actually how I usually do it. So let's say, like, what do I want to do for next quarter, right? I'm going to look at my schedule first. What's already on there? Like, if I've got a big vacation one of those weeks, right, I'm going to have to take that into account, right? If I've got holidays coming up, like we do right now, I'm going to have to take that into account. What I'm launching, what I'm having on my plate, what I'm saying yes to, so many things. It's going to shape your schedule by planning things out, okay? I'm not going to have a big launch the week I'm on vacation because that doesn't make sense. But it might end up being that way if we're not careful. And then my favorite part about this, okay, about having a plan and a strategy, is that it allows me to feel confident that I am genuinely serving my clients and all the people that love me and my vibe, that I'm genuinely serving them because I have a plan and I've taken the time to take it seriously and actually then execute it, okay? I have learned this, okay? I have learned that I feel confident and I feel amazing and I feel very in alignment and genuine when I actually take the time to plan. And I'm not just throwing things up there. I'm not just throwing things out. I'm not worried about, insert what you're worried about, right? I'm not worried about things because I have a plan. My plan allows flexibility. My schedule allows flexibility. And I don't have to be so stressed out. Plain and simple. I feel like I'm a recovering planner, right? I said I'm a planner mixed with spontaneousness. Those two things do not go together. Like, let's just be real. But has been crazy valuable for me to see how a planner turned spontaneous type of person has actually been the best thing for me. Especially because I'm married to someone that's definitely not a planner and is totally spontaneous. So it allows our two personalities to collide and that we've been able to support each other in that respect. But that's a whole nother topic. So planning ahead is all in the strategy and the actual plan. Okay? If we don't take the time to do it, things are going to pass us by. We're not going to feel confident. People are going to see that. We're not going to have enough time. We're going to be super stressed out. We're not going to be focused. We're going to lack motivation. Okay? But when we actually do the plan, we're going to have flexibility. We're not going to have as much stress. We're going to be motivated. Like, we're allowed to be able to focus. We're going to have a schedule that doesn't make us, pass out at night because we're so exhausted. Okay? That is the goal when we have this plan. And we're taking into account the other people that are influencing the plan, the other people that are taking part in the plan, right? If you have a team, you have kids, you have a spouse or a partner, right? We're taking into account all these things when we create the plan. What is your capacity as you create this plan for the next month, quarter, year? What does it look like, right? How much flexibility does this plan allow? There's so many things you can take into account. And a lot of people talk to me. They're like, great. Like, how do I create the plan? Like, how do I even put blank space in my calendar? Like, how in the world do I do this thing where I'm not so stressed out and I can actually, feel good and confident in my business? Well, for one, it does take time. But the first step is to actually sit down and try to create a plan. But even before you can do that, before you can create a plan in your business, you have a plan in your calendar, right? In your schedule. What do you already have on there? Now, how are we going to actually do the work? If you have those things down first, creating the plan becomes so much simpler. And so I'm inviting you today to the Schedule Accelerator, where you're going to learn my T3 Flex framework that I use and I have passed on to my clients for actually being able to get your schedule organized, feeling good, and you being able to sit down and actually execute these tasks. Actually check those things off. Check that box on those tasks and feel really, really good about it. Okay? We're not forcing, we're allowing flexibility, all of that fun. Okay? So if you want to check it out, go ahead and head to the show notes and go ahead and sign up. It's free. And I would love, 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 love for you to be able to join us. Yes, there'll be a replay, as I always get asked. It'll be a limited time replay. Like, this is the first step for you to be able to actually create this plan. Because as with a lot of things, there's always something else standing in front of your goal. And it seems to never be the thing that we think it is. So you might be like, well, I can't plan things. But in reality, it's because your schedule is such a hot mess that you can't. Like, you literally can't. You're right. But we don't want that. We want it to be where you can take that time, create that plan, and be able to feel really good and confident and amazing about it. All right? Until next time, you're amazing. Before I wrap up today's episode, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey to empower neurodivergent entrepreneurs. I hope that you've gained valuable insights and a fresh perspective on productivity and self-acceptance. No matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, I'm here to support you. These transformative conversations will equip you with bite-sized action steps that you can apply immediately. Let's redefine productivity on our own terms and create a business that aligns with who we truly are. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast to receive the latest episodes and join our amazing community of neurodivergent humans. Remember, being unique is our superpower, and together we can rewrite the rules of success.